Hello, welcome to my 20 by 20 Pecha Kucha presentation for politics and media in a comparative perspective. Today we'll be discussing gender inequality and the impact of the media on this cause in Saudi Arabia. The first thing to understand is the definition of women's rights. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, women's rights are legal, political, and social rights for women that are equal to those of men. Examples include, but are not limited to, education, suffrage, employment, violence, criminal justice, sex trafficking, and slavery. As you can see in this map, many of the countries with high gender inequality are in North Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. However, even Western countries such as the United States, the United Kingdom, Spain, and France experience some degree of gender inequality. Saudi Arabia, officially known as the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, is a country located on the Arabian Peninsula and has one of the highest degrees of gender inequality in the world. It is governed by an absolute monarchy, but the king is required to observe and rule by Sharia law and the Quran, an ultra-conservative Wahhabi school of Sunni Islamic thought. Because of this, in 2015, the Freedom House gave Saudi Arabia a 7 on a scale of 1 to 7, with 1 being the best and 7 being the worst for its freedom rating. Nevertheless, Saudi Arabia boasts free primary and secondary education for both males and females. However, instead of focusing on mathematics and literature, much of the early education is focused on the Islamic religion and the Quran. In 2013, the literacy rate for Saudi females was 91.4% compared to 96.5% for males. Although the female percentage is slightly lower than the male percentage, both are still very high numbers, which confirm the importance of the Saudi education system. This acute focus on education has caused a shift in Saudi society as the educated look to higher economic opportunities. According to the Middle East Journal, much of the rural indigenous population has been moving away from the small villages to the major cities for a chance of better living conditions, access to jobs, and state subsidies. These two ideas of religion and economic development have created a society that values religious tradition but also understands the importance of upward economic mobility. However, tradition states that unrelated males and females should not work in the same establishment. This is one of the reasons the Saudi society has become even more polarized between males and females. Some of the daily activities that are forbidden for women include going anywhere without a male chaperone, driving a car, and competing freely in sports. It is clear that the lives of women are suppressed and completely dependent on males socially, politically, and economically. One of the most prominent displays of gender inequality in Saudi Arabia is shown every 2 years at the Olympic Games. Until 2012, Saudi Arabia was one of the only countries that sent an exclusively male team. Then, under pressure from the International Olympic Committee and other countries around the world, Saudi Arabia sent its first female athletes to the Games, a judoka and an 800-meter runner, as shown below. Because of the repressed nature of Saudi society, citizens have turned to media platforms to voice their concerns in an anonymous setting. In fact, The Economist claims there are so many Twitter users among the 60% of Saudis who use the internet that the country has the world's highest penetration of the microblog. Further, according to a 2014 survey by the Dubai School of Government, Saudi Arabia boasted more than 40% of all active Twitter users in the Arab region. Salafa, a 28-year-old Saudi woman, began a social media campaign, #WomanToDrive, by uploading a video of herself defying Saudi customs and driving a car, a video that inspired dozens of other women to upload videos of themselves doing the same thing. The strict limitations imposed on Saudi women of not being able to drive and needing male permission to travel greatly affects the women in the country in their abilities to find and hold a job. Therefore, Saudi Arabia has one of the lowest percentages at 17% of working women in the Gulf, despite its extremely high literacy rates and education levels. Television has also become an important media platform in Saudi society. With 253 television sets for every 1,000 residents in 1992, Saudi society is permeated with information deriving from this source. However, according to the Middle East Journal, because satellite dishes are officially forbidden, state-controlled TV includes a heavy emphasis on religion, children, Egyptian films, and censored news. Further, female television reporters are required to wear certain articles of clothing, including an abaya and scarf, to ensure their modesty in the public eye. The way gender inequality is covered by Saudi Arabian media and social media platforms demonstrates not only the country's conservative traditions, but also many of the citizens' progressive mindset. Just like people from Western and democratic countries, Saudi citizens are using these newer platforms to voice their concerns and initiate change. According to Molly Vandor, product manager at Twitter, conversations about feminism on Twitter have increased by over 300% over the past 3 years. Campaigns advertising personal stories of harassment, misogynist killings at a university, and the fact that women are more than just the clothes they wear have gone viral in their attempts to change attitudes towards women in society. Throughout the world, people from the grassroots level all the way to presidents, monarchs, prime ministers, and others in positions of power have voiced their concerns over the disparity between male and female equality. More recently, these activists have used social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to deliver their messages to millions of people in all corners of the world. One of the most active campaigns led by the Clinton Foundation is #NoCeilings, a social media campaign to shatter previous notions about a woman's role in society. Its objective is to inspire and advance the full participation of women and girls around the world, and to break barriers to access, representation, and compensation. Social media is a powerful tool to raise awareness. However, gender inequality public policy can only be changed if the people in positions of power feel threatened of losing this power. Social media alone is not strong enough to effect this change in law and order. Nevertheless, viral campaigns can create this pressure. Elizabeth Plank, the executive social media editor at Policy Mike, once said, "Women don't just dominate social media, they drive traffic. That's a massive game changer." Because of this, Time magazine concluded that women don't just have a voice, they are forcing institutions to listen.